Good evening, dear viewers. Get ready to dive into the depths of one of the greatest mysteries in modern history. What you thought you knew about the Titanic is about to change forever. Asterisk asterisk, on a starry night in April 1912, the ship deemed unsinkable hit its fateful end in the icy waters of the North Atlantic. But do we really know the whole story? Join us as we uncover long-hidden secrets about the Titanic. Let's start with some surprising demographic data. The Titanic carried 1,224 people on its maiden voyage, but did you know that only 706 survived? This means that more than 1,500 lives were lost that fateful night. But what makes these numbers even more intriguing is the disparity between the social classes on board. In first class, 62% of passengers survived. In second class, that number dropped to 41%. And in third class, only 25% managed to escape with their lives. What does this tell us about society at the time? And more importantly, what does it reveal about the events of that night? But the numbers are just the beginning. Let's dive deeper into the mysteries surrounding the Titanic. Have you ever wondered why the ship was traveling at high speed in an area known for icebergs? Reports from the time suggest that Captain Edward Smith was under pressure to reach New York ahead of schedule. But where did this pressure come from? And why risk so many lives? Witnesses reported seeing lights from a nearby ship during the sinking. This mysterious ship, never officially identified, could have saved hundreds of lives. Why didn't it respond to the Titanic's distress signals? Some theories suggest it could have been the SS Californian, whose captain decided not to investigate the signals. But other voices whisper of a ghost ship, a supernatural presence silently observing the tragedy unfold. And what about the rumors of an Egyptian curse? Among the items lost in the wreck was an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus, supposedly cursed. Coincidence or something more sinister at play? But the revelations don't stop there. Recently discovered documents in a sealed vault in London have shed new light on the disaster. These papers, kept secret for over a century, suggest that the Titanic may have been sabotaged. But by whom? And why? Some conspiracy theorists point to an elaborate insurance fraud. Others speak of a political plot to eliminate certain influential passengers. And there are those who believe that the ship that sank was not really the Titanic, but its sister ship, the Olympic, disguised as part of an audacious scheme. Let's explore some of the most intriguing curiosities about the Titanic that few know. 1. The ship had its own onboard magazine called the Atlantic Daily Bulletin, printed daily with the latest news received by telegraph. 2. The Titanic had a saltwater swimming pool, a rare luxury for the time. Ironically, this pool was one of the first areas to flood during the sinking. 3. There was a gym on board with electric exercise equipment, including a stationary bike and a mechanical camel to simulate desert rides. 4. The last survivor of the Titanic, Milvina Dean, was a baby just 2 months old at the time of the sinking. She passed away in 2009 at the age of 97. 5. The A. Lockhart restaurant chef, Gaspar Gatti, cooked until the last moment, preparing meals for the passengers who stayed on board. But perhaps the most intriguing mystery of all is the Blue Diamond. Persistent rumors speak of a rare and valuable jewel, known as the Heart of the Ocean, that was aboard the Titanic. This jewel, supposedly cursed, was said to have gone down with the ship. But what if it didn't sink? What if someone stole it before the disaster? Survivor accounts mention a mysterious man seen jumping off the ship moments before the iceberg collision. Could he have been the diamond thief? Or something even more sinister? As we approach the wreck site, 12,500 feet below the ocean surface, new technologies allow us to see the Titanic like never before. High-resolution sonar images have revealed surprising details about the ship's current state. But they've also raised new questions. Why do certain areas of the ship appear to have been deliberately damaged after the sinking? Who or what could have done this? And why? Divers visiting the wreck report unexplained experiences. Mysterious lights, strange sounds, and even ghostly apparitions. Could these be the restless spirits of those who perished that fateful night? Or is there a more earthly explanation for these phenomena? One particularly intriguing detail is the recent discovery of a sealed chamber in the ship's cargo area. What could be hidden inside? Gold, secret documents, or something that could completely rewrite the Titanic's history? But perhaps the most mysterious aspect of all is the Titanic's lasting legacy. Why, more than a century later, Are we still so fascinated by this tragedy? What does it tell us about ourselves, about our society, and about our relationship with technology and fate? Some argue that the Titanic was a warning, an ignored omen about the dangers of overconfidence in technology. Others see it as a microcosm of society at the time, with its rigid class divisions and outdated codes of honor. But what if there was something more? What if the Titanic was more than just a ship? What if it was a portal, a meeting point between our world and something beyond? Reports of paranormal experiences at the wreck site are numerous. Divers speak of a feeling of presence, as if they are being watched. Some swear they've seen ghostly figures wandering the flooded corridors. And then, there are the coincidences. So many coincidences that align perfectly to create the perfect storm that led to disaster. The unusually calm weather that made it hard to spot icebergs. The new moon that left the ocean in almost total darkness. The fact that the lookout's binoculars were inexplicably missing. Could it be that forces beyond our comprehension were at play that night? Let's consider for a moment the switched ship theory. Some believe the Titanic that sank was not really the Titanic, but its sister ship, the Olympic, disguised as part of an elaborate insurance fraud. The Olympic had been damaged in an earlier collision and costly repairs were needed. The theory suggests that White Star Line, the owner of both ships, secretly switched them, planning to deliberately sink the Titanic, actually the damaged Olympic, to collect the insurance. This theory would explain some of the anomalies reported by survivors, like details of the ship's interior that didn't match their memories from boarding. It could also explain why the ship was speeding through an area known for icebergs. But if this theory is true, it would mean that hundreds of lives were sacrificed for financial gain. Could such a heinous crime have been covered up for so long? And what about the notable passengers who canceled their trips at the last minute? Millionaire J.P. Morgan, owner of White Star Line, was supposed to be on board but canceled his trip just days before departure. Chocolate magnate Milton Hershey also had a ticket but changed his plans at the last moment. Coincidence? Or did these powerful men know something that other passengers didn't? As we delve into these mysteries, more questions arise. Why were the lifeboats launched half empty? Why were the Titanic's distress signals ignored by nearby ships? And why did so many survivors report hearing explosions before the ship went down? Some argue that the Titanic was the victim of a submarine attack. Others suggest that a catastrophic hull failure, possibly caused by an undetected coal fire, was the true cause of the disaster. And then there's the iceberg. Eyewitnesses described it as black as ink. Could it be that it wasn't an ordinary iceberg, but something more? Something that shouldn't have been there. As we unravel these layers of mystery, we find ourselves faced with a complex web of events, coincidences, and possibilities that defy conventional explanation. The Titanic carried some of the world's wealthiest and most influential men. Among them were John Jacob Astor IV, the richest man on board, Benjamin Guggenheim, the mining magnate, and Isidor Straus, co-owner of Macy's. All of them perished in the sinking. But what if their presence on the Titanic wasn't a coincidence? What if they were there for a secret meeting? A meeting that someone didn't want to happen? Recently discovered documents suggest there may have been a conspiracy to eliminate certain passengers on the Titanic. But who would be behind such a plan? And what would be the motive? Some point to fierce business rivalries. Others suggest more sinister political motivations. And there are those who believe the true motive was tied to hidden secrets these powerful men shared. And what about the artifacts recovered from the wreck? Seemingly ordinary objects that, upon closer inspection, reveal intriguing anomalies. A clock that stopped at the exact moment of impact, but still works when wound. A doll that survivors swear they saw moving by itself in the floating wreckage. Each object tells a story, but can we trust these stories? Or is there something deeper, more mysterious, hidden in the ocean's depths alongside the Titanic's remains? As we approach the end of our journey, we must ask ourselves, what really happened that fateful night on April 15, 1912? Will we ever know the whole truth? The Titanic remains one of the greatest mysteries of our time. An enigma shrouded in tragedy, surrounded by conspiracy theories, and punctuated by moments of extraordinary heroism and shocking cowardice. It challenges us to question our assumptions, to look beyond the official story, and to consider possibilities that defy our understanding of the world. But perhaps the real mystery isn't what happened to the Titanic, but what the Titanic reveals about us. about our fascination with disaster, our struggle with mortality, and our relentless search for meaning in the face of overwhelming odds. In the end, the Titanic is more than just a shipwreck. It's a mirror, reflecting our deepest fears, our highest aspirations, and the eternal struggle between man and nature. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into history's hidden depths, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode of Uncovering the World's Greatest Mysteries. Let me know if you need any more details or adjustments.